We are very excited to also introduce to you CEA Live Community Radio, which is a division of SYA Black Empowerment Network, which is the mother company. And CEA Live Community Radio was created to give our communities a platform to share stories, discuss important issues, celebrate culture, support local voices, and keep meaningful conversations alive. And so one of the most beautiful parts of this particular program, called the Elder Circle, is that the voices shared here will also have the opportunity to reach a wider community through our special CEA Live radio segment called Reflections from the Elder Circle. So this segment allows you seniors to share your wisdom, opinions, memories, experiences, advice, humor, and perspectives on different social topics. There are no right or wrong answers, and it is simply a space where you seniors can speak openly and authentically about life, relationships, family, culture, health, community, faith, and the world around us. So, some of these sessions will include recorded discussions, short interviews that may later be shared on CEA Live Community Radio to inspire and educate others within the community. So today's question is Terry.
All right, so today's question, we touched on this a little bit, right? We talked about mental health a little bit, but the question today is, do you feel like mental health is talked about or discussed enough in the Black community? And if you don't think that, why, right? Or if you do think that, why?
I think that in today's community, people are afraid to talk about mental health because it's a stigma. The people might think they're crazy and stay away from them, and they get isolated. And so this is something that Black people don't talk about. But mental health is very important to talk about because you can get help from the things you're going through. Because if you bottle it up inside, you're not going to get help. You're going to get worse. And it's good to talk about it. And I hope that many people like myself can, get help. Yeah. Because it's very important.
Agreed.
That is very true. And because of that, when people are going through that, they hide away and it becomes very, very dangerous. Some of the suicidal events we get with their young people is due to that, but the family doesn't know and they themselves will not tell. Maybe the friends know, but they won't tell. And it's because people feel they'll be ostracized, so they hide from telling somebody. But if it is taught to the community and people, even the elders know that going through this is where they can get help, to help the family member that is going through that. And if they know that they can get help without being ostracized or the child being ostracized, they'll be willing to come out openly and talk about it and get the help. It's always the stigmata they put on people that is keeping people away from not talking about it. Where we are in a society, the Ghanaian Elders Association, they talk about this stuff from time to time on the platform, but it's not widely spoken enough for people to understand that having mental issue is just like having diabetes or high blood pressure or a swollen foot or a headache or any other disease that people are suffering from. It's a sickness. It's not contagious, but it happens in the brain. And just like any part of the body, that too can get sick. And if they know that it is okay to have that sickness that can be treated, they will be willing to seek help and get the help that is needed. That is why we have to educate our community. We have people who are very knowledgeable about that, and they will be willing to help us to understand it and pass it to our people, our families and friends. And through that, more people will even join this community and also bring ideas. Because I'm so happy that Sam and Anna Maria started this program. God bless you.
As somebody said, Black people don't want people to know their business. So, and the reason they're able to hide mental health issues so well is that it's not, most times it's not visible. So the person may be functioning, but the family knows that they are struggling. But they don't want to share their story, to get their ideas. They don't even want to talk to a professional because we are notorious at not going for counseling and things like that. But that's where the help is. And we find ourselves in a society that is different from where we came from. So there are certain things we have to adapt as our way of life, especially when you have children and they are born here and a different generation. We have to be able to not allow them to do anything they want, but tap into the resources here that are used to help their peers, their white peers, so that they can also benefit. So I think that's the openness, having to open up and talk about it and not hide it, and encourage children also to talk. Because our culture, usually the interaction is different. I think here children are more open with their parents and they will talk and say what they are feeling and all that. So we have to work with them that way and adapt and adjust and get the most out of where we are.
Some people think if you talk about mental health, they might think you are a mad person or you are crazy, but they think about it a different way. People are afraid to talk about their problem to anybody because they think that you are crazy. You can hurt anybody, but mental health is not like that.
The stigma we have in the Black community is that you have a problem and you keep it at home. You know, you haven't got to go out and get a doctor or get anybody to tell you you have a problem, we'll solve it at home. And that has done it has done a lot to our Black people going around now that they can go and express themselves to the doctor or anybody else, they can go. So please advise your family and friends if they have a problem to go seek help. Yes, mom and dad can solve a lot of problem, but when it comes to your mental problem, we can't do it. We need help, and we must not be afraid to say what's wrong. Just go and say, this doctor, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, and the help will be there. Hopefully, I hope so, because a lot of time they think that we Black people are strong enough to bear anything, that we should not complain, we should just go ahead with it. But in this day, modern time, we need the help. And parents, don't be afraid to tell your children, grandchildren, or whatever family you have to go seek help, because the help is available for everyone.
So no, to answer the question, I don't think that mental health is discussed enough in the Black community, and it's what everyone already touched on, right? If you have a problem, keep it in the house. For me, I know that I wanted my family to go to family therapy, and my grandma said, absolutely not. We're not talking about our business with a stranger. And I said, but when we have a problem, you talk to your doctor, and the doctor is a stranger, right? And she said, well, she didn't have a response because it's not true, right? You can't help, or a lot of people in the Black community say, well, we got through life and we never went to therapy. We got through life and we never got help. Yeah, well, that's why you raise children that need therapy because you didn't get the therapy that you needed, right? So I feel like that's why it's a stigma, right? If we tell our business, I don't know what that does though. If we tell our business, what happens? We get help? What does it matter if we tell our business? If we don't tell our business, we're gonna suffer in silence. And that's what a lot of people in the Black community do. They suffer in silence. They have nobody to talk to, or they feel like their problem doesn't exist, and it makes them more sick, right? Because now you feel like the problem is in your head. Why can't I figure it out the way my grandparents figured it out? But they didn't actually figure it out. They're just moving along, right? We heard stories of people experimenting on Black people, and yeah, they're able to live through the pain, but it doesn't mean the pain doesn't exist. And like everyone else said, I encourage all of us to talk about mental health. I encourage all of us to go and get extra help if you need it, because you will take Tylenol if you have a headache. So why not talk to a therapist if you're feeling emotionally drained or strained, right?